Yeah, you can walk right into the stadium. It's not a ticketed event. You can come into this historic ballpark where the Bulls played and where the movie Bull Durham was filmed,
Hmm.
and you can just sit down anywhere. And they've done an excellent job keeping the stadium maintained. Not only is the field pristine, but the grounds and the grandstand,
Yep.
like they've all been kept up and sort of preserved, you know.
Is there anybody there?
All right, and welcome everybody to yet another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast. Well, as you guys already know, my name is Ed, also known as the Dad Hat. I'm flying solo. My co-host, she's not here. I guess she's working out. I have no idea. But with me, I have someone who I've gotten to know over the last couple of weeks here because as you guys already know, I'm very excited and have been getting into Sandlot baseball. I'm very sore, but in a good way. And his name is Mike Ghilardi. Mike, thank you, and again, just for coming on the podcast and having the time to talk Sandlot baseball and actually just baseball overall.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited. So, let's get to know a little bit about you, and then how you got involved in Sandlot baseball, man.
Yeah, so I help run the Carolina Kudzu in Raleigh with
Hmm.
two of my friends, Brian and Joseph, and we started playing Sandlot baseball together about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Joseph had been doing it for a while with the Raleigh Reapers, who was the first Sandlot team in Raleigh,
Okay.
and they were hosting an open pickup game every Saturday, and he asked me and Brian to come out, so we did, and we had a blast, and we talked to each other on the phone a couple days later, and I was like, "Hey, that was awesome. Do you want to go out and do it again next Saturday?" And my friend Brian was like, "I'm at Dick's Sporting Goods right now, picking up a new bat, new cleats, new glove." I was like, "All right, I guess we're going back out there then." And we started going every Saturday. And then, you know, fast forward to the following year, 2022, um, Tyler Northrup with the Raleigh Reapers was putting on this Sandlot Revival event for the first
Mhm.
time. And he needed a bunch of teams, and we had all these extra guys who had been showing up to the open pickup. And so all the extra people, the kind of overflow from that formed the Kudzu. And that was kind of
Okay.
the name of the team was the brainchild of Joseph. He had been coming up with these invasive species team names. He's got a bunch of other ones too, which are great.
Oh, love it.
Um, but I won't divulge them because he's saving them for the right moment.
I love it.
Yeah. So the invasive species was the Carolina Kudzu. The tagline is "Invading Your Field since 1876," which is the year that the kudzu plant was introduced to North America. So
I love it.
there's a whole backstory to it, but
That's great. That's genius. The
yeah,
fact that I was like, honey, I mean, I'm looking at watching all these teams and like one was called the Kudzus, and like I mean, obviously I knew about the Reapers because of the work that MLB Rally has done and all that stuff. So I kind of knew
yeah.
about that one. But Kudzu, I'm like, man, that is just good stuff.
Yeah, we get a lot of looks when we wear our gear out in public, and people ask us about it. It's fun, you know.
Yeah. So you've been running it since like early 20s, the 2020s, and like so you like the first time you got hooked, right? I'm guessing
Oh
it's like the
yeah,
first time you went in there, you were like, "That's it, I'm in."
yeah. We couldn't wait to go back every weekend, and bring more friends out and get more people involved so we could make sure we had at least 18 guys or girls to play a, a pickup game, because eventually you get a little tired of doing BP and ground balls and fly balls and you want to
Mm,
play an actual game. So,
yeah.
every weekend it was like a hustle to try to get more people out there so we could have a scrimmage. Um, but as things evolved now, like we appreciate all of it. Sometimes we just want to go out and take a bucket of ground balls, and
Hmm.
and that's just like a great form of cardio.
I can tell you this from experience, and I've actually made a couple of videos already on this, but like Saturday, like you, is I literally Saturday morning, well, the Friday night, I told my wife, I'm like, listen, babe, like they have an open on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock in Raleigh, so I just want you to know that I'm gonna go, right? Like coincidentally, my daughter who goes to gymnastics, her class was like in the mornings on Saturday, but she went up in her level, so she's now on Friday. So I'm like, this is the perfect time. Let me go. I'm gonna go 10 o'clock, and then I'll be back. So I was there till like almost 1 o'clock, and then by the time I got home, I'm like, listen, I just want you to know, like, this is it. Like, I mean, we're going to go get. I gotta go get a bat, and I need a new glove. Just so you know, I'm just putting it out there. She's like,
Yeah.
okay. So it hit the bug
Oh
hit,
yeah.
and then it's addictive.
What's really cool is that after, shortly after the Kudzu formed, people were coming from Durham and Chapel Hill and Carborough and all around the triangle to come to this Raleigh open pickup. And the people that were doing that from those outskirts of the triangle,
Mhm.
they all they were like, we got to bring this back to our town so we don't have to drive all the way to Raleigh. And they started their own open pickups, and then that's what started forming all these other teams around the triangle. Now we're up to 8 teams in the Sandlot Collective. So
So what are
it's just
so
like,
I know of a couple of them already. So you got the fruits,
yeah,
which are in Durham, the wombats. You got obviously the kudzu, the reapers, the nines. That's five of them. What are the other ones that I'm missing?
the Eno River Possums,
That's right. Yep.
the Carborough Freight Trains.
Mm-hmm.
We consider the Port City Pickles from Wilmington part of
Yes.
the collective too. They were actually they've been around for longer than the Reapers have, I think.
Oh wow.
Um, so my friends Matt and Lacey Emmerich from Wilmington, they started that team when they moved down from Pennsylvania. So they've been doing it for a
Interesting.
lot longer. Yeah, and they were kind of around living in the Chapel Hill area at the time when the Reapers and the Kudzu spun up. So they um they helped it get to.
That's awesome. So like that's yeah, you got eight. It's just it's crazy how it just evolves. And listen, I've only been here in Raleigh 3 years now. And the fact that there's so much baseball here in this state is absolutely wild.
It is, and I just remembered I forgot the Durham Dirtbags. So it's
Oh,
really
that's
9
right.
teams.
Yeah,
The
the
Durham
Dirtbags.
Dirtbags, they're great. They're great too. I love all of them, and they'll probably be mad at me that I just that I omitted them off the bat. So
Oh, you're about to get in trouble, Mike.
yeah, they'll get me on that one. But
So you
yeah,
may
but
go ahead.
the baseball is just exploding here, and it's awesome because we only have like the 2 minor league teams, but we have a lot of college baseball, and now the MLB movement to try to get a team here is really cool.
Hmm.
And the guy that started that's involved in Sandlot too, Lou Pascucci.
That's
He's a
right.
Reaper. Yep. So it's really cool to see the community like rallying around that and the growth that it's sustained.
So let me ask you this, because a lot of people will say it's like, all right, Ed, like all right, you're doing baseball, great, good for you, awesome, you know what I mean? But like, and they try to ask me what is Sandlot, right? Like, I'm like, listen, everybody's invited to this. Like, it's not just like the best of the best. It's like everybody's invited. If if you've never picked up a glove, have at it. And that's pretty much how I explain it to them. How would you explain it to someone who's trying to figure out or find out more about Sandlot baseball?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It really is baseball for everyone. It doesn't matter how good you are, if you've ever even played the game. I mean, you're going to be welcomed onto the open sandlot pickup on Saturdays or Sundays. If you don't have a glove, somebody will let you borrow one. Don't have a bat, same thing. If you just want to learn about the game or you just want to try it out, that's the perfect place to do it.
Hmm.
Everybody there is going to welcome you. There's going to be no judgment. Um, and like it's true that like some people are there for different reasons too. Not everybody there is there for the same reason. Some
Right.
people are there to meet new people, and some people are there to get a good workout, and some people are there just because they want to mash balls. Um, so it. if everybody comes from the same place of understanding, which is that we're not going to turn anybody away, it becomes more fun for everybody.
Hmm. Um, okay, so let me ask you then, as far as like the teams, right? You guys are part of what is called the Sandlot Collective. Give me a little bit of background on that, like how, if you can, like how that formed and all of that.
It was originally called the Raleigh Sandlot Social Club.
Hmm.
Um, and it was really just the Reapers. I mean, they would just get out there every Saturday, and I think it was Lions Park is where it started
Hmm.
in Raleigh, and we still try to get out there as much as we can. Right now, it's happening at Green Road because somebody else has Lions reserved on Saturdays. But that's where it was originally when I started, um, and they had been doing it for a few years. But so Raleigh Reapers were the first team, and then the Kudzu formed for this first revival, and then by the second revival, we had even more teams: the Cargo Freight Trains, Durham Dirtbags, Wake Forest Wombats, and then just new people keep coming out to these open pickups, and it's like, well, these teams are kind of full, so if you want to start a team, that'd be great because then we'd have another team to play,
Hmm.
you know.
I was just gonna
And
ask you about that. So, but
yeah, and
continue.
and like the way it works is that these teams just kind of talk to each other. We just reach out to another team and be like, hey, do you want to get a game this weekend, next weekend? We try to set a schedule at the beginning of the year, but it's very loose. It's loosely organized. And we'll just throw some dates on the calendar and be like, all right, it's a schedule we can probably agree on for the next 3 months. And then we'll try
Hmm.
to start adding more games as the season goes on. But we typically play games almost year round, kind of start in March and end in November. But
Oh wow, so it
and
goes a long ways.
yeah, but and you'll get a couple nice days in December or January. And
Hmm.
if that happens, you'll see somebody out in the field on a Saturday in January when it might be 70 degrees and the grass might look brown, but they'll still be out there taking grounders and fly balls.
See, that's the beauty about being here in North Carolina, because I'm
Yeah,
in Cleveland, where I'm from. It's not happening in January.
no,
I'll tell you that right now. It is not happening.
yeah. I grew up in New York, in central New York, and yeah, we started our season sometimes with the snow on the ground. So
Yes. And it's like 20 degrees out there, and you're freezing your ass off trying to play. It's never fun.
yeah.
I love that. Look, so let me ask you this. All right. So because I went to the open and I was like, man, this is cool. So like, there's like different members from each of the teams that have already been formed, right? Um, so for example, like a couple of questions that I have, just so that way we can, I can bring light to how this works is, all right, so let's say that you're someone who is coming in, you're new and all that, you come in at a couple of the opens and everything, but they want to be part more of a team. How does that happen?
Honestly, it just usually happens kind of organically. You make friends with some people that are on another team.
Hmm.
Um, you express interest,
Yeah.
and usually, if you build up a good rapport and you get along with everybody and they enjoy having you around, they'll ask you to join their team, or they might ask you to just like come out and be a guest player for a game
Hmm.
if they need some extra bodies. And they'll see how you mesh with the team in an actual game.
Yeah.
And if that works out, they might offer you like an official roster spot. But for people that doesn't happen to, and they still have the itch, man, if you could convince 8 of your friends to start a baseball team, you
And
can
then,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah. And you could just get some plain white T-shirts and a magic marker and write
And off
write a
we
team
go.
name on it, and that's your
Just put it
jersey.
on and off we go,
You
right? Like,
know?
hey, and then you can call on to the other teams, like, hey, listen, we want to be part of this.
Yeah.
Let's, I would like to, put our team out there to go play. This is how it, and then go from there.
Yeah, and this is happening all across the country. I mean,
Oh my
this
God, yeah.
this kind of started in like Austin, Texas,
Hmm.
with the Texas Playboys,
Hmm.
and it exploded there. They probably have at least 30 teams in Austin. I could be wrong, but Tulsa, Oklahoma is another hotbed. Los Angeles has a Sandlot League out there that's been around for 10 years. And, things are spinning up in New York. It's just everywhere. Everywhere you go now, you can look for Sandlot teams forming.
From what I understand, I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think doesn't Austin have their own Sandlot stadium or ballpark per se?
Yeah, it's kind of like their Field of Dreams, and they actually have two fields now. There's
Oh
there's one
wow!
called the Long Time, which is the original one, and then there's a new one that opened last year called the Wishing Well, which is also operated by the same people.
Nice.
Um, and we the Kudzu had the fortune of going down there and playing last year. We played on both fields,
Oh wow!
and it's incredible. I mean, it really is like a little Field of Dreams down there on somebody's private property.
Oh really? So it's
Yeah.
like this is private property, and
Yeah,
they're like,
but it's like a party. They have a bar, and they sell drinks. They have a stage where live music is going on during the game. They've got they've got like old-timey scoreboards with the placards, the numbers they hang up there, and
oh, that's amazing.
they've got little kids up there operating the scoreboard for everybody. And people are having picnics and they're bringing their dogs out, and it's honestly just it's a huge party, and the baseball is really just like part of the entertainment.
That's that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really cool and special, and you know they have probably, I think the last time I read, they're up to having like 60 games a year hosted down there, and people coming from all over the country to play there.
So it's like the early version of like what you guys are putting here together as far as like the Sandlot Revival, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. The Sandlot Revival was actually modeled after an event that was happening at the actual Field of Dreams movie site in Iowa. Um,
Really?
yeah, one of the um, one of the people that is on the Tulsa Rumblers Sandlot team,
Hmm.
um, Brett Spears, he organized an event at the Field of Dreams 2 years in a row, and he invited a few teams from around the country to meet there and play on that field. And they raised money for charity, and they had after parties and meetups there in Iowa, and it was really special. And we got to participate in the second one
Oh, that's
that was held
cool.
there. And then he didn't do it again. It ended up being too much to manage, and he stopped doing it after that. But the Sandlot Revival has been sort of modeled after that event.
That's cool. Talk to me a little bit about that because I was there this year at the revival at the old DAP, the old Durham Bulls Athletic Park, and I'll tell you this: it was it was a great experience.
Yeah, I
Um,
appreciate you saying that. It takes a lot of work, and we had a huge number of volunteers that stepped up this year to help organize it. This was the fourth you so you came to the fourth
yeah.
annual revival. Um, and honestly, all of them have been really special events with great participation. But this year was the biggest. We had 13 teams there this year. I think the first one had 6 teams, so it's really grown. Um,
I mean, you've doubled your teams already
yeah,
in 4 years only.
yeah, and the way it's set up is there's 10 games over 3 days,
Hmm.
and so the first year each team got to play 2 games. And the way it is now, with all the local teams that we have, each local team only got 1 game, but we still made sure our 5 out of town guest teams got to play 2 games.
That's cool. That way, make them coming
Yeah,
uh, a special time for them to be here as well.
yeah, and we've made it like the first year was not a charity event, but we
Hmm.
we made a conscious effort after that to make each event um, charitable. So we raise money for the long ball program of Durham, which is a MLB RBI affiliate.
Hmm.
So they run a baseball league for teenage boys in Durham that are underserved. And then we also um, decided to add a second charity this year and raise money for the LGBTQ Center of Durham.
That's awesome.
And and one of the reasons we were able to do that is because PF Flyers stepped up and helped sponsor the event. and it helped cover the majority of the costs of what it takes to rent the facility and some of the other costs that go into running the event. And so we were able to take some of the money that would have gone to that and push it to these other charities.
That's cool, right? Like, I mean, and awesome for them to step up because, like, I mean, like you said, those are really two good charity events that obviously, it's near and dear to you guys and everything, and but like it really does serve the community, which it goes part to be what is my guess will be to be part of a Sandlot team, right? Is like everybody's welcome,
Exactly.
regardless of sexual orientation, your race, any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really the message that we want to send. The hardest thing to do is to convince people to come out, you
Hmm.
know, because you might think like, oh, I'm going to get hurt playing, or like there's no way I could hang with these baseball players who've been out there doing it for years. But
Hmm.
once you get there and you see how welcoming the community is and how much fun it is, you understand what Sandlot baseball is really all about.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I spent some money there. um,
That's not a requirement, but that
it
does
is
happen.
not. It is not. But I really wanted to make sure that I did my part, and there was obviously a lot of hats. I'm a collector of hats, and then I had a good
Yeah,
friend of mine who was there from Georgia. He also purchased some hats and some shirts and everything. So I was like, this is one of the coolest events that we were part of. Like, and the event was free, right? Like, I mean, you can
yeah,
just come in and watch, and I got to
yeah,
meet cool people, which is awesome.
yeah. You can walk right into the stadium. It's not a ticketed event. You can come into this historic ballpark where the Bulls played and where the movie Bull Durham was filmed,
Hmm.
and you can just sit down anywhere. And they've done an excellent job keeping the stadium maintained. Not only is the field pristine, but the grounds and the grandstand,
Yep.
like they've all been kept up and sort of preserved. You know, um, there's not as many seats as there was in the movie. They've taken the bleachers
Yep.
along the sidelines down, but all the little buildings are still there. And obviously the landscape has changed. It's surrounded by condos and
Lots
high
of
rises
some
now.
bars and restaurants and all of
Yeah,
that around it. Yeah.
it still has the charm though.
Oh, 100%. I was like, man,
Yeah,
I feel like I've been, to be part of be there and have that part of be part of like, history of Durham and the movie and all that was
yeah.
awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that I think it's NC Central that still plays their games there.
Well, they don't have a team anymore. I think
Okay.
2 or 3 years ago they cut that program, but they were
Oh,
playing there, and I think two Durham high schools still play there,
okay.
and the long ball program, their league plays on that field.
Oh, plays there as well. Okay, so it's really
Yeah,
like, I
they
mean, it's this being
yeah,
played all the time.
yeah,
Now the Durham Bulls are the ones who upkeep that ballpark.
yeah, yeah. The grounds crew at the historic stadium, I think
Hmm.
they still do some time at the big
Okay,
stadium.
awesome. I love that. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. All right. So let me ask you this then. These opens, right? How is it organized? Like, who's done it? Because like, I mean, you got a couple of areas within
Yep.
Raleigh and Durham that you guys have throughout the weekend. Like, who organizes that? How is that ran? All of that.
So the Raleigh Open Pickup is organized by the Reapers, the Kudzu, and the Nine.
Hmm.
So we have like a captain's group chat, and we all kind of agree where the open pickup is going to be, and
Hmm.
um, each team usually brings a bucket of balls or an L screen, or and then the Durham Open Pickup. You got the dirt bags and the Eno River possums. And then the Durham Fruits have a separate open pickup that they do. And then you've got the one in Carborough, in
Yep.
Chapel Hill,
Yep.
that the freight trains do. Some of these happen on Saturdays, some happen on Sundays. Um, I think the Fruits do some weekdays as well. So you really just you hop on social media and you follow all them, and
Oh yeah.
they're always posting, where the next game or open pickup is going to be.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things that I saw. It's like everybody was very welcoming, and then it's just like we were just there playing ball. Like I mean, we we actually obviously we did some ground balls and then all that fun stuff and hitting and all that, and but at the same time we did play a game which was cool as all. As someone who's like I said, I haven't picked up a bat or a glove for a while like that, and to be able to feel like a 15-year-old again playing baseball, it was like the
Yeah,
best feeling in the world.
it is. It's a very freeing feeling, and I think Sandlot baseball is like the most free expression of baseball that there is.
Hmm.
We can, when we play a pickup game, we can make our own rules. Like we can decide if there's going to be steals or if you can go on a pass ball
Hmm.
or I don't know if you want to play a man down, we could put 8 people out there. Like it doesn't matter.
It's just I saw and then I read the rules, like the guidelines and everything. It's just like yes, you're obviously you want to play, you want to take it a little serious, but at the end of the day, it's like you want to got to make sure that you have fun. And two, as soon as the game's over, you forget about the score. That's it. It's over.
Yeah,
It's done. It is what it is at that point. Like it's
yeah.
forgotten.
A lot of people call our collective a league, and when they hear the revival, they're like, "Oh, that's that baseball tournament." It's
Yeah.
none of those things. It's not a league, and the revival is not a tournament. Yeah, we kept score during the game, but there's no records. There's no championships. There's no trophies.
Hmm.
We don't track wins and losses. We don't do batting averages.
Because then at that point, you're just going down into the
It's
weeds of things.
Yeah, the baseball game itself is kind of like an expression of art, and it is what it is. And you know, if you're taking it too seriously, you're missing out on it.
Yeah, you're missing the point at that point when it comes to the Sandlot baseball. I want to take a quick hold here for a second. I want to introduce my co-host who decided to show up here at the end.
Oh
Oh
man.
no, no, no! We're just having a full interview, half hour in, Stadium Food Girl, and then you just decided to show up. Okay, cool. I see how this goes.
I am so sorry, y'all. I look okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I will never get my time zone down correct. I'm not even kidding. Yesterday we were looking at the hockey schedule and I'm like, oh my gosh, the Golden Knights play at midnight their time, and it's like no 9:30 their time. I just suck at schedule.
She's full disclosure. She does live. She's in Vegas right now. She lives in
In
Las
Vegas,
Vegas.
okay.
Yeah. This is my co-host Val, Stadium Food Girl.
How you doing?
We are talking with Mike of the Rally Kudzu. He is one of the captains for the Sandlot teams that we have here in North Carolina that I am starting to partake in. So we're
That
just
is so
talking.
cool.
It is. Listen, I'm telling you right now, it is one of the most fun that I've ever had on a baseball. I had fun. I felt like a 15-year-old, during the game, but I can tell you my age showed up as soon as I got home, and I stopped playing, Uh,
I'm so sorry. The first impression of him is me opening. Don't fire me.
It's all right.
Whoops.
so there it is. Um, and Mike, obviously you are part of the Sandlot Collective. That's which is something cool that you guys are doing here. As from your point of view, what do you think the long term vision of Sandlot Collective is, and Kudzu and all of that, as far as what you see happening here?
I talk about my teammates about this sometimes, and we're all like, we're gonna play till the wheels fall off, man.
Hmm.
We want to be doing this, into our 60s and 70s, and like maybe we'll like let our kids join the team when they're adults, you know,
Yeah,
and they can start turning it over
yeah.
as we move on. But I mean, we've played teams with much older people on it, and they've been doing it for a while, and they've given us a lot of good advice about longevity within Sandlot baseball. Things like take some yoga classes or do some Pilates, and don't don't practice too much. You know,
Take it easy.
yeah. There's a Sandlot manifesto that you can get your hands on. The guy that started the Texas Playboys, and one of the items in there is don't practice. Do something more productive to prepare yourself to play a baseball game because you're going to get hurt. So, go for a jog or take a yoga class.
I did a lot of stretching. I'll tell you, the next day I was, that was like my regular cardio day. Instead
Yeah.
of going for a run, I went for a long walk.
Yeah.
Just to get my legs stretched. Because if not, I can tell you it would have been bad for me.
I think what I've seen over the last 4 years is this huge growth of more teams starting from all these people that keep coming out to the open pickups.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're seeing now is a lot more games being scheduled amongst those teams because we have a lot more teams to play now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what you're going to see over the next few years is getting back to these open pickup games, because I know a lot of people on my team miss that. As much as they enjoy like the competitive games that we schedule and play, they miss the casual atmosphere of the open pickup. So I think you're going to see that continue to grow, and that's going to lead to more teams. And in 10 years, the Reapers and the Kudzu are going to be the old-timers.
Yeah.
And we're going to be challenged by all these new younger teams. And you'll probably see a lot of cool matchups because of that.
That's awesome though. Like, I mean, that's the beauty about baseball, right? Like, I mean, we watch
Yeah.
minor league baseball, we watch, at a much, higher level. And it's like, yeah, I want to be part of that. But like, we're like, the pickup is what really was like what enticed me to go out there and be like, man, I gotta be part of this. Like I told you, I was like at the event, and I'm like I'm texting my wife right there and my friends. I'm like, I want part of this. Like, I want to be
Yeah.
in this.
And we're gonna make
fun.
we're gonna make a bigger effort in the Raleigh Open Pickup to make it more of a scene. We're gonna bring out grills and coolers and try to make it really fun for anybody that doesn't feel like breaking a sweat or breaking a bone out in the field. Like, if we want there to be as much fun behind the backstop as there is on the field.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for watching part 1 of this episode. Okay, now make sure you guys are following the Sandlot Collective, Kudzu, okay, the Raleigh Kudzu, the Reapers. Make sure you guys are following all of them. This is Sandlot baseball at its finest. Listen, I'm part of it. I'm actually starting a team in the Sandlot league here. Because why? Because it's fun, guys. It is a lot of fun, and wherever you're at, you should go and find your Sandlot league and go and join, go play. Listen, I'm 43 years old, about to be 44, and I am having the time of my life. All right, so make sure you guys are doing that. Now, also make sure you guys come back next week so you guys can go ahead and finish this episode. Okay. And while you're at it, like I said, get yourself a new glove, get yourself a ball, a baseball, whatever it is. Go out there and play some baseball, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe. All right, guys. Until then, support the minor leagues.